Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This whole weekend has been a very interesting weekend. From this and that and the other, and here's another. Online, along with whatever gathering is here and whatever other people are remote, there's a group of devotees who are students of Gopal Hari Prabhu. They're his Bhakti Vaibhav students. So that's my understanding, at least. And this is the conducting the morning class the way that we're doing it is in honor of their wanting to be participants in discussions. So, welcome, Prabhus. The event, for those of you that are remote, there is an initiation ceremony this morning. And so that's going to follow some discussion from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, starting with text number 40 and going towards the end of the chapter. The beginning part of Chapter 7 is very important, and then the rest of Chapter 7 follows the beginning part. The beginning part of Chapter 7 includes essential verses in which Narada has instructed Vyasa to do two things: to fix his mind in trance upon the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, Krishna. And second is based upon the realization that he receives in that trance to compose another literature or an edited version of the essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this beginning section is really important. It's the foundational teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. And in that discussion, there's the importance of hearing topics about the personality of Godhead. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam is. So after hearing from Sutta Goswami what transpired between Vyasa and Narada and Vyasa's realization, they're very enthusiastic. They're sitting on the edge of their straw mats saying, Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha. And very interestingly, the Krishna Katha that comes is about the Pandavas. And Prabhupada asked the question, they wanted Krishna Katha, how come they're hearing about the Pandavas? And the answer is, hearing about the Pandavas is as good as hearing about Krishna because of their intimate connection with Krishna. Hearing about the devotees of the Lord is as good as hearing about the Lord because there's not a separation. Something like Nandi Mukhi's comment yesterday at the end of class, very similar. So Krishna Katha, the Pandavas. And the description found there is the son of a Brahmana. Dronacharya was a Brahmana, and his son was the son of a Brahmana, not a Brahmana. And he did dastardly things. So one of his ideas, after wanting to please his master, he considered Duryodhana, his master, like what kind of GPS system he had in place, I don't know. But Duryodhana was his master. And he wanted to please his master. And he thought, I would please my master by showing him that the descendancy of the Pandavas is finished. And so the descendancy of the Pandavas being finished was accomplished, and his idea was taking the sleeping sons of Draupadi, the sons of the 5 Pandavas, while they're asleep in their tent, coming in with a sword, chopping off their head, and presenting the heads to Duryodhana, who was disgusted. And not only he was disgusted, but Asvatthama realized, uh-oh. And when the news came to Arjuna, you're going to perform a funeral for your sons, and you can stand on the head of Asvatthama while you're performing the funeral rites for your 5 sons. And off he went, chasing after Asvatthama, and many things happened. He captured Asvatthama. He brought Asvatthama back with his sword raised, ready to chop off Asvatthama's head before Draupadi. Kshatriya. You know, corporal punishment for someone who's done such a heinous thing. And one of the main themes that we've been discussing is found in verse 40 of chapter 7. And I'll read it because it's pertinent to our discussions this weekend. Translation. Sutta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Parikshita, Arjuna in religion, Krishna encouraged Arjuna to kill the son of Dronacharya. Arjuna, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him, although Asvatthama was a heinous murderer of Arjuna's family members. So there's this back and forth discussion. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, Lord Krishna encouraged Arjuna outwardly just to test Arjuna's sense of duty. So we're sometimes tested with a sense of duty. And sometimes we don't know this or that. Should I do this or should I not do this? Should I do that or should I not do that? Should I turn left or should I turn right? What to do? Sometimes we're perplexed. Sometimes. Krishna is examining us. So the main lesson is take shelter of Krishna. Dridha bhakti. When tested, turn your attention to Krishna. And you may not know what to do in that moment. But that's one thing you know what to do. It is not that Arjuna was incomplete in the sense of his duty, nor was Lord Sri Krishna's unaware of Arjuna's sense of duty. Still, he's examining it. But Lord Sri Krishna put to test many of his pure devotees just to magnify the sense of duty. The gopis were put to such tests as well. Prahlad Maharaj also was put to such a test. All pure devotees come out successful. It may take a while. It's like the kings, 20,000 kings, they were put to test. Going back a bit, Krishna is saying, O Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana or Brahmabandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep. Gosh. A person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot, nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being, otherwise he'll go down by his own actions. Furthermore, I have personally heard you promise Draupadi that you would bring forth the head of the killer of her sons. This man is an assassin and murderer of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the burnt remnants of his family. Kill him immediately. Now, it's pretty direct. And the reasons behind the direct. And Krishna's testing Arjuna's sense of duty. And Arjuna's feeling it. Because Draupadi's saying, don't do it. And he took, the vow was to her. She's saying, I withdraw your responsibility for this vow. Don't do it. And his elder brother said, don't do it. Bhima said, do it. Krishna said, do it. Perplexed? I mean, we don't have such personalities advising us. And even with those different personalities advising us with different reasons why this and that, we still have some responsibility in our free will choices. And Krishna, as we're hearing from Prabhupada here in this purport, he's accentuating Arjuna's sense of duty. And duty is not just, salute to the flag or salute to the duty. It's there's subtle principles of Dharma at stake. Well, so I'm going to read. I hope it's okay. After reaching his own camp, Arjuna, along with his dear friend and charioteer, Krishna, entrusted the murder unto his dear wife, who was lamenting for her murdered sons. Same day, like raw feelings, murdered sons, and here's the murderer. Draupadi then saw Asvatthama, who was bound with ropes like an animal and silent for having enacted the most inglorious murder. Due to her female nature and due to her being naturally good and well-behaved, she showed him due respect as a Brahmana. Saintly lady. She could not tolerate Asvatthama's being bound by ropes. And being a devoted lady, she said, release him. This is the wife, she's not suggesting, release him. For he is a Brahmana, our spiritual master. Because the son of the spiritual master is retreated like the spiritual master. It was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons. He, Dronacharya, is certainly still existing, being represented by his son. We know this principle. Those who like to read Prabhupada's books know this principle. When Balaram killed, what did he kill? With a blade of grass, a kusa grass? Romaharshan, yes. And the Brahmanas cried out, "Alas, alas." I've never heard anybody cry out, "Alas, alas." But, "Alas, alas, you've done the most heinous sin." And the sin was they had given a promise to, they placed him on the seat, knowing whatever his birth was, but they placed him on the seat, and then they gave him this benediction that you'll live a long life and you'll have a good fortune in the future. But you just like didn't, you neglected that blessing that we gave him, and you're the personality of Godhead. So this is the most heinous act. And then Balaram's response was two. Well, the son is the representative of the father, so let's place his son on the seat that Ramaharshan has made bloodied, and he can continue the narration because he learned all of this from his father. And so then it's, your benediction is held intact because his son will live a long life, because the son is the equivalent, representative of, in Vedic culture means the equivalent, not equivalent, but equivalent. So that's the same here. The person who taught you everything is Dronacharya, and this is his son. So you can't kill your teacher. His wife, Kripi, did not undergo a sati with him because she had a son. So when Dronacharya died in the battle by various means, as his faithful wife, she didn't enter into the funeral pyre because she had to look after her son and serve her son. So she's without a protector. If you kill him, she'll have no protector. Oh, most fortunate one who knows the principles of religion, it is not good for you to cause grief to the glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful. Now, where are those understandings coming from? From a very deep place, because emotionally, he just killed my 5 sons. But she's thinking, she's being examined. And she's speaking the way that she's speaking. Now, how do you decide between this and that? My Lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me, like, the cause of another's suffering, and particularly her. And she naturally, she had this sense, because she should not feel the feelings that I'm feeling. I know the feelings of having lost 5 sons. Don't leave her in that position, because at least I have my husband's, and she doesn't have anything. So don't leave her in that position. Let her not feel those same feelings that I'm feeling. She's an elevated lady. I agree for the death of my sons. She need not cry constantly like me. If the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends a Brahmana, the Brahmana order, and enrages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon all. So don't do this, because it'll be detrimental to our royal family because of offending a Brahmana. So Kripi, our royal family, the Brahmana order of society, or the spiritually advanced caste or community, and the members of such highly elevated families were always held in great esteem by other subordinate castes, namely the administrative kingly order, the mercantile order, and the labor. So she's giving a varnashram lesson to her good husband. Not that he doesn't know these things, but she's cultured and repeating what he needs to hear from her perspective. So wives can do that. That's okay. Sutta Goswami said, "Oh, Brahmanas." So who's Sutta addressing? The assembly at Naimisharanya, many Brahmanas. King Yudhisthira fully supported the statements of the queen, which were in accordance with the principles of religion and were justified, glorious, full of mercy and equity, and without duplicity. So his wife is saying, unto the person unto whom he's made this vow, and to placate her feelings, and she's pleading with him otherwise. And Yudhisthira, his elder brother, is confirming everything. Nakula and Sahadev, the younger brothers of the king, and also Satyaki, Arjuna, the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, son of Devaki, and the ladies and others all unanimously agreed with the king. Now, Krishna said otherwise before. Bhima, however, disagreed with them and recommended killing the culprit, who, in an angry mood, had murdered sleeping children for no purpose, and for neither his nor his master's interest. Krishna, Chatur Bhuja, after hearing the words of Bhima, Draupadi and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna, and he began to speak as if smiling. Krishna says, a friend of a Brahmana, Brahmabandhu, is not to be killed. But if he is an aggressor, he must be killed. So it says, it's a little confusing because the previous it says the personality of God had agreed with Yudhisthira, now he's disagreeing with Yudhisthira. All these rulings are in the scriptures, and you should act accordingly. You have to fulfill your promise to your wife, and you must also act to satisfy Bhimasena and me. Whoa. And he is a devotee of Krishna. And, twice he's explicitly saying these heavy things. What to do? What to do? But here's the key. Just then, Arjuna could understand. Sometimes that doesn't happen with us. But he has a special qualification. Dhrita Bhakti, full shelter. He has no material motive. He has no material shelter. Krishna is his everything. And here's that, even for such a person, we're not in that position. Even for such a person, perplexing circumstances may arise. This one's pretty extreme. And once it's done, it's done. You can't take it back. Okay, well, let me do a rerun and decide differently. It's done. So what does Krishna want? Arjuna could understand the motive of the Lord by his equivocal orders, and thus with his sword, he severed both hair and jewel from the head of Asvatthama. And, in Vedic culture, it's the equivalent of killing somebody. That kind of humiliation. Same thing happened to Rukmi, right? Because his sister Rukmini pleaded, don't kill him. So he disfigured him. Asvatthama had already lost his bodily luster due to infanticide. And now, moreover, having lost the jewel from his head, he lost even more strength. Thus he was unbound and driven out of the camp. So that's nearly the end of the chapter. Cutting the hair from his head, depriving him of his wealth, and driving him from his residence are the prescribed punishments for the relative of a Brahmana. There is no injunction for killing the body. Thus, last sentence of this chapter, thereafter the sons of Pandu and Draupadi, overwhelmed with grief, performed the proper rituals for the dead bodies of their relatives. End of chapter. So it's kind of like a heavy thing to have for a morning Bhagavatam class, but it's the first Krishna Katha in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which should tell us it's important. So some of you are vidvans, you're learned persons, and you know what is that importance. Submission to the personality of Godhead is foremost of everything, pleasing Krishna. However, sometimes it's not clear what pleasing Krishna looks like. Sometimes. Sometimes it's really clear, sometimes it's not really clear. And then if in those cases that it's sometimes not so clear what's going to be pleasing to Krishna, where do you go? Well, one of the things that our founder Acharya repeated many, many, many times is that important question that the Yaksha coming out of the lake asked Maharaj Yudhisthira. When things get perplexing and complex, how do you decide what to do? Because there's different, apparently conflicting scriptural teachings. You do this or you don't do this. You do that or you don't do that. So what do you do? Yudhisthira's answer, yes, it is perplexing. And he's, the son of Yamaraj, the knower of Dharma, Dharmaraj. So he said, you go to the Mahajans. So this is the first lesson in the Bhagavatam, which is teaching us Paradharma, glorification of Para Ishvara, Ishvara Parama Krishna. And one way of saying what the lesson is, drum roll and some trumpets and, skies, flowers falling from the sky and things like that, is when you're taking a decision about to do, you can be guided by this principle of Dharma or that principle of Dharma, and when it's confusing, even if it's not confusing, you should consider what are the consequences, or who will be affected. And that's Draupadi. Kripi should not be affected like I am. Compassion. And compassion can be misplaced, and often it's misplaced. So how do we know how to properly place compassion? And you have to read Prabhupada's books. You have to be familiar with the big picture, because it's really easy to take a slice over here or a slice over there or somewhere over there and think, that's it? To be responsible, you have to have the big picture. Big picture means that the diversity of the teachings, in this case it's Bhagavatam, and in this chapter 7 was the first Krishna Katha, and who's going to be impacted? Not easy to understand that. But when we take an action, others are going to be impacted one way or another way. And that's certainly a factor, a principal factor. Not the only factor, but a principal factor that should be considered when you're taking decisions. So make decisions in such a way that the outcome of those decisions will be understood, will be contemplated before you take the decision. So that he would be killed was fulfilled by this disgracing him and taking away his wealth and casting him out. Now, elsewhere, it's not right here. Elsewhere, it's described Asvatthama lived for a long time. Not only he lived for a long time, in the next Yuga cycle, he's the next Vyasadeva. Really? So there's this phrase, Chiranjiva, some living entities live a long time. Next Vyasadeva, Asvatthama. No, we don't know that Arjuna knew that. But so he was basing his decision on his capacity to understand what Krishna wanted. And he did what Krishna wanted. He should be killed. So he killed him without killing him. He fulfilled his promise. Now, it's not that Draupadi was able to stand on his head while offering oblations, because she withdrew that pledge, that obligation to pledge, the promise that he would do. Because Krishna said, you have to fulfill your promise. Kshatriyas, any of us, not only Kshatriyas, but you make a promise and you fulfill a promise. Just like initiation vows. You take vows and you fulfill them. It's not light. There's the Lord, and there's our founder Acharya, and there's the Vaishnavas, and you fulfill your vows. Now, for Gopal Hari's group, I'm going to kind of shift gears a little bit, and I'm going to move this into our event of the morning, because I don't know if you can see, the camera shows. There's a fire yagya all set up, and there's going to be devotees taking their initiation vows, etc. So I'm going to shift gears over there. But taking initiation vows, aside from keeping them, that's an accomplishment. This is the age of Kali, and it's really easy to say X, and X doesn't continue, or statistically, how many disciples of Srila Prabhupada? How many disciples did he had? So some number was 4,500. How many of those persons continued upholding their vows? Many, but many didn't. It's not when they took their vows they're thinking, I'm going to make a vow and not keep it. So that's not the mindset when taking vows. But to uphold them takes something more than just the words. It's character. And one of my main messages this weekend has been when initiation takes place, it's mercy and it's submission, but it then is a responsibility. It's an opportunity. It is also a responsibility. The responsibility to behave, to manifest the character and quality of a representative of disciplic succession. And for those of you who are remote, I'm looking at Prabhupada. I don't know if you've noticed, take a close look next time you pass by the Vyasa. This is a different Murti of Prabhupada. It was made specifically for this temple. Oh, yes. And look closely at the expression on Prabhupada's face. Have you noticed? Besides, the serene yet stern look of that's the same devotee that made the other Murti, but he customized for Premananda. And this is the first from that sculpture. And he has this nice smile. Really nice smile. Gentle, but nice smile. So we want to have him continue smiling, or when we come before him, he'll smile. And what causes the founder Acharya and Krishna to smile? We know from chapter 12, it's having good qualities. Krishna is pleased. He says so. So part of the responsibility is to have or develop good qualities. Now, where do you get good qualities from? From the source of everything. Krishna decorates his devotees with good qualities. Which comes first? The good qualities or bhakti? Bhakti comes first. And then from bhakti, supposing you're lacking in some good quality, supposing you have the opposite of a good quality in some department, supposing it might happen, then what? You you look to bhakti, the principle that Vrita Bhakti, Krishna should be pleased. And the indication that Krishna is pleased is the spiritual master is pleased. So those who are taking part in this initiation and those others who are already initiated, I'm making a strong emphasis, like 20 times so far. Proper conduct, exemplary, representing from yourself to the Vaishnava community and outside the Vaishnava community, the qualities of a Vaishnava. And, sometimes we don't do that because there's something else inside. There's unwanted things inside. Do some housekeeping. Supposing, like one of the classic examples is gardening. There's a nice expression. When a gardener goes into the garden, he wants to cultivate the garden, but he also has to pull weeds. And okay, that's violence, right? Because we don't take the life of loving living entities. You pull weeds, Prabhus. If you're gardening, no, the weeds can grow somewhere else, that's okay. But the garden has to be free from weeds because you're doing some watering and you don't want to, the root structure of weeds takes the water first. So remove the weeds. But to remove the weeds is on the strength of bhakti, not on the strength of, controlling a lower urge. You control lower urges. That's good. But the strength is the strength of bhakti, because then it's not just clipping the tops of the weed and then they'll grow quickly because the root structure is there. You have to uproot them. You uproot them on the strength of bhakti. Bhakti has the strength to uproot such tendencies. Through bhajana kriya, anartha vritti becomes possible. So keep going back, just like the discussion that we had. Krishna's instruction to the kings who wanted constant remembrance of him. They're seeing him. They had been meditating on his rescuing them. They've gone beyond the desire of just being rescued from their circumstances that were oppressive, worse than oppressive. They went on the other side of that. They're seeing the forearm, beautiful features of Krishna, and they want to hold that remembrance always. Because they know he's not going to stand there the whole, for the rest of their lives. They want constant remembrance. But they're asking, and this is just a review of what we've been hearing, they're asking for the means, like sadhana, by which they can always remember. So this is a nice lesson, take home from this weekend. 4 things. For remembrance, the 4th thing is remembrance. But here, try to understand, keep asking until you understand, keep reading, keep being inquisitive to understand, and then practice. However long the practice takes, you keep practicing. Supposing you slip and fall, that's okay. Keep practicing. Just like nectar devotion, the principle of a child's walking works because The walking capacity is innate. And loving parents will help the child, when they slip and fall, to look at their parents, they pick them up, or hold them by the little hand and help them take the next steps until the natural innate capacity comes out. And that's with this sequence, it's remembrance. When you remember Krishna, then, the path is clear. There's still going to be obstacles, but the path is clear. That's what happened with Arjuna. He's getting, opposite instructions, but he understands Krishna's intention. So that because of remembrance of Krishna, he could understand. Then, from that practice of remembrance, then Dhrita Bhakti becomes possible. It's progressive. So, that our initiates, please be mindful of what your responsibility is to manifest the character and qualities of Vaishnava that will make Prabhupada smile, and that will make Krishna, Krishna will smile. And then you'll be effective in your lives of receiving bhakti and giving bhakti to others, because that's our lives as followers in our disciplic line. That's what Mahaprabhu wanted of us. So I think we're going to move on in our procedures here. So those of you who are remote listeners, you can leave. You can stay, you can leave, but everything's shifting.
Wash your right hand. You follow me. Om Apavitra Pavitroba Avastha Gatopiva Smarit Indari Kaksham Sa Bahya Abhyantara Shuchihi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Wash your left hand and your right. Pour some in your right hand. Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Do two more times. Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Madhavaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
And you have someone who will change your neck beads for you. So those who are assigned to change neck beads, please do so.
This can go with the supply. This can at the end get to revolution.
And then we put the new one first and then remove the old one.
You're getting a lot of attention, ladies.
Now, Guru Maharaj will lead us in reciting the Sri Brahma Samhita.
Ishvara Parama Krishna Chachit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Briksha Laksha Vratesu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Kanvantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandrakala Sadvanamalya Vankshi Ratnangadam Pranaya Keli Kalavilasam Shamam Tribangalanitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhaja Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chenmaya Sat Ujvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achotimanadimanantarupam Atyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedesha Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Antastakoti Shatavatsasamyo Vayuratapi Manasomadi Pungavana Sopyastiyan Mapadasinya Vachintakate Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Eko Pisarajayatam Jagadanta Koti Yat Chaktirasti Jagadanta Chayaya Dantaha Andantarasta Paramam Jayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhaja Yad Bhava Bhava Tadiyoma Najasta Taiva Sanprapya Rupa Mahimasha Nayana Bhushaha Suktayaryameva Nigama Pratataistavanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavis Tabirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabihi Goloka Eva Navisatya Kilatma Bhoto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Bhakti What happened? Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santaksna Daiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundarama Chintugana Sarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murtushakala Niyamena Tishtan Nana Vatara Makarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samavavak Paramak Pamanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Koti Svasheshu Vasadadi Vibhuti Binnam Tat Brahma Nishkalamanantam Ashesha Bhotam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Maya Hiyasya Jagadanda Shatani Sute Trai Gunya Tad Vishaya Veda Vita Mana Sattvabalambi Parasatvam Vishuddha Sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chenmaya Rasatmanaksu Yat Prani Nam Palipadam Smarutam Apetya Leela Yatenu Bhavanani Jagat Yajasram Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Goloka Namni Nijadamni Tale Chatasya Devi Mahesha Haridamas Teshu Teshu Te Te Prabhava Nihyavi Taschayena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. Shristi Stiti Palaya Sadhana Shaktireka Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga Ichhanurupam Api Yasya Chate Chate Sa Govindamadi Purusham Maham Bhajam. Kiyam Yatadati Vikara Vishesha Yoga Sanjayate Nihitatak Kritagasti Heto Yaksham Bhutam Nitatak Mukaiti Karyat Govindamadi Purusham Maham Bhajami Deeparshir Eva Hidasham Taram Abhyapetya Deepaya Te Brivita Hetu Samana Dharma Yastadrig Eva Hitya Vishnu Taya Vivati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yatkaranarnava Jale Bhajati Sma Yoga Nidramananta Jagadanda Saroma Kopaha Tadara Shaktim Avalamya Param Smamurtim Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasai Talavatavalamphya Jivanti Loma Vinaja Jagadandanataha Vishnur Mahansi Hayash Kalabhishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Basvanyatangsha Sakaleshu Najesha Tejaha Sviyam Kiyad Prakariyad Tadvitadvadatra Brahmaya Esha Jagadanda Vedana Karta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yatpada Pallava Yugam Vinitaya Kumbha Dvantve Pranam Samaye Sagadadi Raja Dikhan Vihantam Agapakasya Vigatriyasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Agnir Madhir Ambum Rudashasya Kalastatma Manusita Jagatriyani Yatmad Bhavanti Vibhavanti Vishanti Yansha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yachakti Savita Nagrahana Raja Samasta Suramuti Cheshate Yasya Vidya Brahmati Samrita Kamachakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Dharmo Tapahanichaya Shrutayastapamsi Brahmadikita Patagavadayascha Jiva Yadatrama Vikata Prakata Prabhava Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasvindra Gopamata Mahosma Karma Bandhanurupa Palabhajanam Atanoti Karmani nirda hita kintu cha bhakti bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yam Kroda Kama Sahaja Pranayadi Viti Vatsalya Moha Gura Gaurava Sevya Bhavai Sankintya Tasya Sadushim Tanam Aparete Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Drama Bhumis Chintamani Ganamayi Toyam Amritam Kata Ganam Natyam Ganapam Api Bhakti Priyasaki Chidanandam Jyoti Param Apitat Asvadyam Apicha Sa Yatra Shiradvi Shrabati Surabhi Vyasya Sumahan Nimeshad Yakyova Vrajati Yahi Yatrapi Samaya Vaje Shveta Dvipam Tamaham Iha Golokamityam Vidanta Steshanta Shati Virala Tarakati Pare Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadi. I think we'll go next to vows. So, Sangeeta, you can go to Prabhupada's Vyasa-san and offer obeisances to Prabhupada. Then come here. Where is Premananda? Is she here? She's not here? Not coming. Would somebody like to come over here? Just come over here. Over here. Oh, you're going to go to the yeah. Okay. Who would like to say something nice? Who's going to do that? One at a time. Who? Pratibaho. Pratibaho. Please say something nice. He always says things that are nice. The Masons. Go
Hare
ahead.
Krishna. I know, Maharaj, you want to be short and sweet. So
Yes, short and sweet.
I met Sangeeta Mataji. She used to come on the January 1st. We have the Mahayagna chanting of the holy names, and she would come on January 1st only, chant and feel happy. And I could see that she is a pious person. So I would approach her and see, like, are you interested? And she would say that, no, my time has not come. Two years in a row. Then,
And then?
that year, she in July for the festival of the Holy Name, she came and she really enjoyed. So I went and told her that your time has come. So she started attending the Bhagavad Gita classes and with one class, and then within a few months, like more classes and attending the daily Srimad Bhagavatam reading group, and she really took off. And guess what she said to me after that? Why didn't Krishna bring me earlier to this? Later, I came to know that why she was hesitant, because she had been like practicing or involved with many other organizations, so-called religious organizations, and she had different kind of tastes. So, but she found what she was really looking for here, and now she is doing Bhakti Shastri, serving, dressing Srila Prabhupada, involved in the cooking services at the Sunday feast, and she's really doing very well. And I wish her the best in her Krishna conscious life.
Your time has come. Okay. The standard procedure for the vows before Radha Madhava and with all the cameras focused on you. It's not going to report the sound though. So, how many rounds you'll chant on your beads every day? Good. And the 4 rules that you'll follow? Okay. And you'll continue, as you've been doing, to carefully follow Srila Prabhupada's teachings for the rest of your life. Very good. Would you like to know what your initiated name is? I want to make sure I get it right. Initiated name is Sukha Sadguna. Sagara. Sagara means ocean, ocean of Sukha.
Sukha Sadguna.
Sukha Sagara. Sukha Sagara. Devi Dasi.
Devi Dasi ki.
Radha. Huh? Radhe, not Radha. Radhe. Okay. And you're going to also speak?
My wife Kathamrita will
Okay. You bring her the microphone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, by your mercy and the support of Premananda Mataji, Pratibhahu, Radha Kunj Bihari Prabhu and Vamsidhari Prabhu, I'm trying to speak something about Radha. Met her first time in 2020, and then she has been joining not only the Bhagavad Gita discussions with us, but she's also started the Srimad Bhagavatam daily reading, and now she's also conducting Srimad Bhagavatam reading every day.
Every day?
Yes. And
Who leads that?
She leads.
She leads it. Really?
And also,
Your time has come.
and she is also part of your website maintenance and development team. And at one point, she was listening to 2 or 3 your lectures every day. And now they have finished the backlog, so it's 1 lecture every day.
Your time passed. You weren't supposed to say that. But she's doing too much service. Go ahead.
Yes, she is involved in deity jewelry making, then also garland making, cooking. She's a sweet person in our team, meaning that she is the one who makes sweets.
She's blushing. You're going to get it afterwards.
So my prayers that she continues to be in your service and in Krishna's service for the rest of her life.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
So before the deities and Prabhupada and all the Vaishnavas, your vows, how many rounds you chant on your beads daily? Good. And the 4 rules that you follow? Okay. And you'll continue for the rest of your life to follow carefully Srila Prabhupada's teachings as best you can. Initiated name is really easy. Radha Seva.
Radha Seva Dasi Ki. So now we're going to do the fire yagya. And as Maharaj decides to run Swaha, with these 3 fingers, thumb and middle two, we'll put the grains in the fire. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Romapada Swamin Iti Namine Swaha Swaha Swaha
Om Ajnana Timirandasya Yanandana Salakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Swaha 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 Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagadam Dadati Swapadantikam Swaha 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 Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha Svaha 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 Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Svamin Itinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Swaha 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 Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayataya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhurojvala Premadhyam Shri Rupa Nuga Bhaktidam Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostate Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupa Nuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Swaha 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 Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padambu Jayate Namaha Swaha 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 Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchit Anandanamine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanugavarayate Swaha 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 Gauravir Bhava Bhumistvam Nirishta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarva Bhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Swaha 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 Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Swaha 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 Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvishe Namaha Swaha 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 Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Surupakam Bhaktavataram Bhakta Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Swaha Swaha Swaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Swaha Swaha Swaha. Jayatam Surato Pangor Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarvasvapadam Bhojo Radha Madana Mohano Swaha Swaha Swaha. Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpa Drumadaha Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Krishnadibhi Sevyamano Smarami Swaha Swaha Swaha. Shriman Rasa Rasarambhi Vangshi Vata Tatastataha Karshan Venus Vinayar Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestunaha Swaha Swaha Swaha. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Swaha Swaha Swaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Swaha Swaha Swaha. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha Swaha Swaha. Last mantra, standing with your banana in your hand. And with the swaha, you very gently place the banana in the fire. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Swaha Swaha Swaha. Kirtan. Shatarupa. Shatarupa. Come on.
Rama Rama Hare Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.